all 10 secret rares for Photon Hypernova are here. For the 34% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button, smash it so you guys don't miss out more Oz content. Photon Hypernova, all of our secret rares are in, and these are amazing. The first one I want to talk about here is the Gravekeepers Engraving. So you guys saw that I made a video earlier in the week that was like, this card changes Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's in the set as a secret rare. I was such a happy boy. I was like, oh my gosh, they actually did it. So at the start of your main phase 1, apply one of these effects to both you and your opponent. All right, so they cannot activate cards or effects in the graveyard. They cannot banish cards from the graveyard, or they cannot special summon monsters from the graveyard. Now, this is a normal spell card. Like I said, you do have to activate this at the start of main phase 1, but oh, and you also have to hard draw it. Well, it's a side deck card. That's exactly what we're going for here. This gives you basically a 2-turn period to out the amazingness that is Tier. I'm expecting probably 30 plus price tag on this card until things calm down a little bit. Next up is Waybridge. So this is if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters than you do. Your opponent must send monsters they control to the graveyard so that they only control 1. Well, this card is kind of interesting because I feel like this is a failure of a secret rare, in my personal opinion. I don't understand for what purpose that they wanted to push this, though Labyrinth players are going to be very, very happy to have this card because it's a pseudo evenly matched at the end of the day, which aims to, well, you know, when you can have effects that force a player, you, to interact instead of, you know, forcing a card effect interaction, that's really what you're going to care about at the end of the day for those particular effects. So basically, a discount evenly matched-esque effect that gives you the chance to do something. I definitely think that these are maybe 20 bucks, in my personal opinion. I don't think that it's going to go too hard, but it's definitely something interesting. Next up is the Galaxy Photon Dragon. So this is your 2 level 4 monsters to make this. So all other light monsters you control gain 500 attack. Okay, that's pretty good. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. And then you detach a material from it and take a Photon or a Galaxy card from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to your graveyard. That's not horrible. If a light monster or monsters is special summoned to your field, you can target one of them as a level. Its level becomes 4 or 8 till the end of the turn. The Search's Galaxy Soldier. That's the main thing that you really give 2 craps about at this point in time, is the fact that you get that level of interaction to just toggle for this. 2 level 4s get you a Galaxy Soldier, which makes you an Infinity. Okay, then you can technically, I don't know, do whatever else you want to do with this. I think this will be probably the cheapest secret rare in the set, next to, you know, the Gold Pride stuff at the end of the day. So I don't want to be too mean about that, but that's kind of the status that I'm looking at this card right now. Next up, speaking of Gold Pride, we have Gold Pride Leon. So if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can special summon this card. On normal or special summon, target a non-warrior Gold Pride monster in your graveyard. Special summon in defense position, and then you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for Gold Pride monsters. Then during your opponent's main phase quick effect, after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon a synchro monster using only Gold Pride monsters you control. If we had better Gold Pride cards at the moment, I would be way more excited for this theme. What they gave us for the start of Gold Pride is really, really nice. I genuinely will, I'll clap for them. They did a lot better than some of these other archetypes out here. But my problem is we need more. As an introduction, I think that this is fine. I think this card will actually probably be $5 after all is settled, and I know that's really lowballing it, but that's just kind of the reality of the situation until something else comes along that really blows this out of the water. And then, of course, we have the Crowd Goes Wild. I'll be crying when I pull this card. Actually, the crowd will be going, poor Robbie. So let you reveal a Gold Pride monster in your hand, let you add a different Gold Pride monster with a different name from your deck to your hand, and then you can apply the following effect to special summon a Gold Pride monster from your hand, but you lose life points equal to its original attack. You know, I think this should have been a field spell. In my personal opinion, you could have left them have, you know, something, and that would have been fine. I think that there would have been some potential here at the end of the day, but will this be more than Leon? Technically, I mean, you have to play both of them as a 3 of, because that's what you want to do, but I think this one will probably have an $8 to $10 price tag once all is settled on. But once again, This is just wave one of your support, and because it's just wave one, it's very unfortunate, but that leaves a lot of room to really be desired at this stage. Next is a Riseheart, the walking, talking, macrocosmo, amazing card. This card is the nuts. The fact that as long as your Shangri-La used its effect this turn, you get to exceed some of this on top of anything. It turns basically into a macrocosmo. Anything goes to the graveyard, it's banished instead. That's why you care about this card. It's a walking, talking macrocosmo. And then each time a card is banished, mandatorily attach one of them to this card as material. And then, quick effect, detach 3 materials from this card. Target 1 card on the field and banish it face down. Which, then again, it'll get to suck up another card as material. Yeah, but the thing is, this is a 2 of. Basically the Kashtira monsters, the tier monsters were like one-ofs. You saw, $15, $20 price tags on them. They went down to like cheaper. I think you're going to look at 25 to 30 on release for this. Maybe a little bit more for the generalized hype that this card really has going for it. And then we have good old Kashtiri Theos, aka Papayas. Because that was the Japanese name. This just lets you target a Kashtira monster. You control special summon a Kashtira with a different attribute from your deck in defense position, and then you get locked into Exceed for the rest of the turn. Okay, sure. Now remember, if you're doing Nightmare Corrupt Ribley combo, you do that before you do this. Alright, and then if this card is banished, you can target one of your banished Kashtira monsters, add it to your hand. So you get a free add back on this, and you basically get the ability to do a free extension special summon. Yeah, Konami was good with this. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to make a broken theme even better, but yeah, free extender chicken nuggies. This card is so good, especially when you can grab back your combo piece for your extension on the next turn. I'm definitely thinking $40 to $50 on these, for sure. If you're really expecting much less on these, maybe after global circulation for a little while, but I don't see it, man. Like, I really don't. Like, I think this card's going to just continue to go up and up. Next up is the, was it Raceroth? Raceloth? Is the name of it? On activation, you go ahead and search for that tier elements Kashtira monster, because that's, as a tier player, that's what you're searching. Monster control gain 100 attack and defense for each different attribute on the field. On the field, by the way, it's very important. And if you Kashtira Shangri-La, you control activates an effect and target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So you're gonna, not only do Kashtira players want this card, tier element players want it because it searches for a tier elements Kashtira monster, which also mills cards from your deck. Huh. That's pretty good, right? Yeah, it is. I mean, you saw so many expensive field spells. I think this is going to be one of the most expensive cards in the set by far. And I'm sorry to say that because I want to see cheap versions of these, but that's what you're expecting at the moment. It's not gonna be Easy Town for sure. Then we have Captain Champion Sargas. So just exceed some of this on top of Merrymaker. Okay, sure. While this thing has exceed material, once per turn you get out a Springens or a Thurion card from your deck to your hand. I love the fact that that's not a once per turn, by the way. Well, excuse me, the search is a once per turn, just as long as it has material. And then the best effect of this is if a material is detached from a monster or monsters on the field, except during damage step, target 1 card on the field and either destroy or return it to the hand. You get a spot removal option with this. 2,800 on this thing. This card is nuts. All right, they knew what they were thinking when they made this. I think this is going to be relatively cheap because very few decks I feel like will try to maximize on more than 2 of this. It's not a 3 of in like any capacity, but for the most part, to be perfectly honest with you, it should be relatively cheap. So good news. If you were one of the players out here, it's like, oh, it's going to be so expensive. Nah, chill. $15 max, I feel like. Maybe 20. And then the best, gosh darn card in the set is Triple Tactic. Now remember, if your opponent activates a monster effect this turn, you can set 1 normal spell or trap card directly from your deck, except for Triple Tactic. It cannot be activated this turn. But if your opponent controls a monster, you can add that card to your hand instead, which means then you can go ahead and activate it. This is Triple Tactics 2.0. It's also can search for talents so that you can do your thing. You just have to bait your opponent into activating a monster effect for you to play this. A lot of the OCG has reduced this down to like 1 or 2 in a lot of builds. It is a little bit more dependent on forcing the opponent to engage in certain effects, but it is definitely something. Like, You have so much value in this set, like, it's crazy. So what do you think about all of your secret rares? Please leave a comment down below telling me what you guys think. And, well, Triple Tactic will probably be the best, most expensive card in the set. You guys have a good rest of your day, alright? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.